All right. Let's see if this is going through. I'm just kind of waiting to see this pop up online. Okay, we are live. Great. Great, great, great. Guys, how are you all doing? Hi, Derek. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Geert. Thank you so much for all of your support, everyone. For sharing my videos, tweeting them, all of that. I really appreciate it. Hi, Carlos. So, this video was inspired by a conversation that I was having with a friend last night. And it's been something that's been coming up in, I think, a few conversations this week. And I can see why I'm being kind of nudged to really put this out there today, given the times that we're in. This message is timely, not just for the world, but for your individual journey. And it's a very important reminder for all of us that it is in our darkest hour that we do meet our most illuminated self. Hi, Lorian. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, David. And Matt. Okay, so looks like my frames are skipping again. And I really don't understand how that's possible because I have a hard line on the internet now, and even still, it's screwing with everything. All right, well, hopefully it's coming through okay. You guys in the chat, just let me know if the stream's pretty healthy and the sound's good. So we are in very uncertain times, and deception is at an all-time high. There's a lot of manipulation in play, and many of us are going to be experiencing this in our own individual journey at this time. And for many of us, when it gets really dark and we feel like we can't continue on, there is a reason for this happening in our lives. And I asked, before I started this video, I kind of tuned in with my guidance and I said, are there any messages that you guys want me to tack on to this one that is so important right now? And I kind of used I love using my wild archetyped deck, and they literally gave me two cards. They gave me this one, the Warrior, which was, you can't even make this stuff up. And then this one also came out with it. They came out together, the Mirror. Now, the mirror represents our reflections, our illusions. It's the looking glass. And when we reach our darkest hour, it is because there are things within our reality, within our own self, that we've refused to acknowledge or to see. A truth so hard to see that we've avoided it, and we can no longer avoid it, which hence comes the darkest hour. We can see this happening right now on the world stage in many different ways. Doesn't really matter what side of the aisle you're on. This really isn't about right or left, Republican, Democrat. Deception is on both sides. Corruption is on both sides. And that has exposed itself actually through this whole process that we've witnessed. We've seen actually people that we believe we could trust or we thought we knew, and they've been exposing their true intentions, which for many of us we kind of knew, but some may be surprised. Now, when you reach this point in your journey, because we all reach a point of reaching the darkest hour, know that it is a When you are about to go through a breakdown, it is because you are on the precipice of a breakthrough. But it's very difficult to see that breakthrough or know that it is around the corner when you're experiencing a breakdown. And oftentimes we need to go into this breakdown because we need to be cracked open. There is a part of us that we've been resisting for a long time to come forward, a part of us that is so much needed to come home, that has been abandoned through trauma, through pain, through suffering, through dramas. And right now, there is a part that is trying to come home to us on a collective level, but also on an individual level. And at this time, if you're going through a point in your journey where you feel you're on the precipice of a breakdown, and I say this because in my readings lately, if you guys have seen them, the devil and the tower seem to be coming up a lot. There's just no avoiding it. And the devil is representative of also our own shadow side. Remember that you cannot have anything happening outside of you that isn't also reflected within you. Hence why this mirror card has come up. And so with the warrior card also coming up, it's here to tell us that it is time to hold the sword, which the sword represents truth, to hold the sword up, but instead of using it in the way that you believe you should, to surrender the sword to be guided by the eternal, and to allow the eternal to show you a truth and a reality you've been refusing to see. At first, it's very painful. It's very painful to see this reality. It is in complete it is something that shows itself in a way that one would first look at it and say, no, this can't be true. This can't be true. Why is this happening to me? It carries that vibration. It carries that energy. And what's important to understand is that it is happening because there is a level of you, the higher self, that has now come in accordance and in orchestration with the eternal to now show you your most illuminated self. And when we think about the polarities, because you guys know how much I love talking about the dark and the light, the masculine and the feminine, that in this reality of duality, we come in here to experience the dark and the light together. And in these moments, in your darkest hour, the reason why you go into this darkest hour is because you're about to meet your most illuminated self. This illuminated self doesn't have the same power that it can to show itself when things are okay in your life. Not too bad. Maybe there's some struggle, but you can get over it. This is usually when the higher self is now stepping in and forcing your hand. Not forcing your hand out of aggression, but actually out of love and compassion for you. Again, to crack you open. To crack you open in ways that will probably lend you falling to your knees and crying on the floor. And this is necessary because it's a purge. It's a purge of emotions. It's a purge of darkness that has been hidden and kept inside and refused to be seen. And I'm putting this message out there because I know there are people that are going through this at this time. Not just a few, many. And I also feel like more will be going through this down the road. Because I don't feel like this phase that we're in right now on this planet is going to be a paved road. And that doesn't mean you go into despair. It doesn't mean that you give up. But you prepare yourself to be the warrior. Be the warrior of a spirit, the spirit of the divine, for your own journey. And that warrior is one who allows their sword of truth to be guided by the eternal. So, for many of us, we are being prompted right now to really go within, to look within yourself, to find a darkness you've perhaps refused to see until now. Because we wouldn't be witnessing this in our world if it wasn't alive within us as well. And we've engaged in this lifetime at this present moment in time, in this timeline, in order to learn from this. This planet is literally a school. We're all learning lessons. And there is an awakening that is happening within each and every one of us. There are truths that all of us are not awakened to yet within us. And if you believe that you are fully awakened, you're a fool. And I say that with love. Our journey is not over until it's over. And that means that we are constantly learning and observing and going deep into the muddy waters. That remember, the lotus is birthed from. The lotus represents enlightenment. You cannot have the beautiful lotus without first going through the muddy waters. And so, one of the things that I've just kind of written this down here, that opposite polarities tend to spark the greatest transformation within us. But we fear it so much because we fear the dark, but forget about the light. And this is part of the programming of the Matrix, of course. But I want you guys to remember during this time that the darkness represents death and the light represents rebirth. So right now we are going through a sense of death. And when you're on that journey where you are starting to become illuminated through going through the darkest hour of your existence or your journey at this current time, it is because there is some part of you that's dying. There is some part of you that, even though it was existing in lies, in false beliefs, letting go of it can be very painful. It's the human nature. It's our human nature. It's very difficult to embrace change. It's very difficult to let go of the things we know, even if we know they're not good for us. And often we get caught up in the pain of the death, but we are witnessing a death right now. We are witnessing a death of a timeline, a death of a reality, a death of many things. And through that is the rebirth. But we're kind of going through some labor pains right now. And labor pains will be present in your awakening to certain truths and realities that come to light. Now, I am likely going to release a follow-up video to this, because deception is afoot. And it is afoot in ways that many would be shocked to know. It's not my job to deliver where the deception lies. It is just, in my opinion, my job to remind us all that deception is on both sides of the aisle. It's why the two-party system of the government was never designed to serve humanity. There is infiltration always. But instead of being scared about that, remember that without the light, you cannot have light without the dark, and you can't have dark without the light. And we're here for the journey. We're here to learn. We're here to discover the deception. As you discover the deception in yourself, you will discover the deception in things around you that you thought were to be true, in people that you trusted. And always listen to your inner authority. And this is about the illuminated self coming to life. You are birthing the illuminated self to life. And this dark hour usually comes when there is a sense of betrayal or deception within self and outside of you. Usually it's the deception and betrayal outside of you that is the catalyst to discover the deception and betrayal within you, of where you allowed yourself to be deceived or allowed yourself to be betrayed. And this comes down to boundaries, because we're not taught proper boundaries, or our boundaries are crossed in our younger years as children, and we never heal from that. And so there is a moment in time that when you're on this dark journey, if you do, when I say dark journey, I mean the journey into the darkest hour, that if you feel the need to retreat, to go within, do it. Allow yourself the space and time to heal, to discover the things that you wouldn't be able to discover if you were distracted in other ways. So we are kind of going through what feels like a darkest hour right now. But through that, we're going to also see illumination in ways that we haven't before. However, the best way that we can assist that is to really get honest with ourselves and to discover any deception or betrayal within us that needs to be healed. And there are many ways that we deceive ourselves. Do not put your trust in any authority other than the one Creator itself. Your connection to the one Creator is the ultimate authority in everything. And that is that is the one truth you always need to hold in your heart. And every person here on the planet who is delivering messages, whether they're of hope or despair, are human. And we all have our faults, and we all have our light. And it's important to never give anyone or anything more authority than your connection to the one Creator. So, tune into the darkness, tune into the light, tune into both. That doesn't mean you need to participate in any manipulation that's going on right now, but just be open to seeing things that you may not be willing to see. The truth always is uncomfortable, because the lie is sitting in comfort. That's why we get into these situations, is because we start to get comfortable. It feels good. And there are going to be truths that we're all going to be facing that are going to make us very uncomfortable. And we have to be willing to see them. Because if we're not willing to see them, then how can we expect anyone else to see the truths that we already know? And so be mindful on this path. Have your heart open. This path is one that requires a lot of compassion, a lot of vulnerability, vulnerability for self, to be in humility, to lay the ego down, and to be ready to receive truth in whatever format it's coming. So I don't know how everything's going to play out for all of us, just as none of us really know how everything's going to play out in our individual journey. However, I do believe that it's all going to work out in the end, but the steps on how we get there are still yet to be determined. And I really feel like there are going to be twists and turns that even those who claim to know are going to be surprised, because I just don't see how one person can truly know what is going to be happening in a free will universe. Everything is up to free will. So, that being said, I'm putting this out there because I know that there are many who are going to be going through a very dark journey, perhaps meeting their darkest hour. And just to know, to have hope and know that your most illuminated self comes through at this time. The heart cracks open where it was closed. And it is necessary because what is required of you on the rest of your journey requires your heart to be more open and for the truth to be more in alignment with you. So do not be afraid of the most illuminated version of yourself. Your most illuminated version of yourself always comes in love and always comes with compassion. That being said, the truth often is very difficult to hear. And that's understandable, given the levels of deception we go through in this journey. So I just want to see how all of you guys are. Hi, Jolyn Van Asten. So nice to see you. And speaking of, guys, for those of you who are in my membership program on YouTube, please just keep checking the community tab line for the weekly tarot readings that are posted for those of you in that program. And those of you who are in my alchemy program, if you're not and you want to be this month, which is tomorrow, actually, the live call's tomorrow night, I've been guided to prepare you all, or at least I shouldn't say prepare you, help prepare you in the upcoming 12/21 portal next month to assist you in being open and in a form of reception, opening the receptive principle within you to receive what is coming through at that time. How is everyone doing in the chat? Let me just see here. Hi, Ruth, Free Press, Scott, Kathleen Waleska. Hey, Kat. Ooh. Let me do some. There's something I want to do here. Hi, Tamara. Okay, saying that my video's stopping. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. Okay. The connection's been really weird. Let me just here. I got to do one thing here, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. Why is this not working? Oh, all right. I'm not going to try. I'll do it later. Okay, guys. I love you guys so much. I hope you're all doing well. If you are going through a dark hour of your journey, reach out to someone. Again, that's why I have the alchemy program as a group support. It's a community of people who are willing to face their dark shadows. They're willing to go into the depths, and it's filled with people who are there to support you and understand and learn as well from your own journey as we learn from yours. And it's designed there in case you can't afford, working with someone one-on-one. And so take advantage of that if you need it. Okay? All right, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. I love you guys so much. If you need any more information about me, my website is NicoleFrolick.com. I have a newsletter there. I I believe I am hosting a 11/11 meditation, portal meditation for you guys on Wednesday with someone else. I'm not going to say who just yet. I will be sending out that notification through my email list. But stay tuned, guys, because I am working to do that with someone to get you guys a meditation to be part of. We'll do it live, guided, on the 11/11 portal date. Okay. All right, guys. Love you so much. Thanks again for all of your support. Thank you so much for showing up. Be in your heart. Allow peace in where you can. Peace, groundedness, so important at this time. And hold the light. I hear everyone saying, hold the line, hold the light. Hold the light of truth in your heart and allow it to illuminate anywhere within you that needs to be seen that isn't. And allow yourself to be a light for others when they're in their own darkness as well. Okay, guys.